Have you ever noticed that moment? You're calm, minding your own business, already planning to do the thing. You even feel strangely good about it. Then someone says, "You should do this now," and something inside you shuts down. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a quiet, firm no rising in your chest. It doesn't make sense, and that's what bothers you. Because you weren't resisting the task. You were resisting the feeling of being pushed. It was never really about what they asked. It was about how suddenly the choice stopped feeling like yours. And maybe, without realizing it, you've been wondering why that small moment changes everything. Let's break down what's really happening here. 1. It's not laziness, it's context. Let me be clear about something, because this is where people get you wrong. You didn't stop because you're lazy. You didn't resist because you're immature or difficult. Moments earlier, you were ready, calm, willing, even motivated. What changed wasn't your character, it was the context. The task didn't suddenly become heavier, it became directed. In a world that quietly rewards obedience and calls it maturity, your reaction gets mislabeled. But that internal pause, that pushback, isn't necessarily a flaw. It may be a signal that something deeper in you values choice more than compliance. 2. For some people, freedom isn't a preference, it's a need. This isn't a diagnosis, just an observation that shows up again and again. For some people, freedom functions like air. When a choice feels fully yours, energy flows naturally. But the moment that same action turns into an order, your body reacts before your mind can explain it. It's not rebellion. It's an instinct to protect inner space. Your system senses a loss of control, even a small one, and pulls back. When you understand it this way, the reaction stops looking childish. It starts looking human. 3. This trait quietly shapes how you live. Over time, this isn't just a reaction, it becomes a pattern. You tend to guard your independence carefully, not to stand out, but because you function best when your choices feel self-authored. You don't need constant direction. You don't find comfort in being told what to do. There's a word people often miss here. Self-directed. Not stubborn, not defiant. Self-directed. You listen first, decide privately, then act. It's a subtle trait, rarely named, often misunderstood, but not something that needs fixing. 4. Not all resistance comes from the same place. If you look closer, you start to see that people who hate being told what to do aren't all the same inside. Some of you are autonomy protectors. Even gentle direction can feel like a hand closing around your freedom. Others have a logic-driven mind. You don't reject authority, you reject instructions that don't make sense yet. You need the why before the do. Some have a demand-sensitive nervous system. Expectations carry weight, and the moment something becomes required, your energy tightens, not from defiance, but overload. And some of you are quietly self-reliant. You learned early to trust yourself. Being told what to do doesn't sound like help. It sounds like doubt. These aren't labels to wear. They're lenses. You may recognize one or pieces of several. 5. The real conflict isn't personal. It's cultural. The problem isn't you. It's the lens society uses to measure value. We live in systems that reward visibility, compliance, and quick agreement. So when someone doesn't respond well to direction, it gets translated as resistance, ego, or lack of teamwork. Your quiet independence gets mistaken for distance. Your need to choose gets read as refusal. But this isn't a conflict between people. It's a conflict between values. One side prioritizes speed and coordination. The other prioritizes agency and inner alignment. When you see that, the misunderstanding stops feeling personal. 6. This trait isn't blocking you. It's protecting something. What often gets overlooked is what this trait is actually doing for you. It protects your sense of authorship, the feeling that your life isn't lived on autopilot or written by someone else's expectations. Your pauses, your silence, your reluctance to perform on command. These aren't weaknesses. They're ways of preserving alignment. You move slowly because you're checking in with yourself. You speak less because you value precision over noise. In a world that confuses motion with meaning, this trait guards your ability to live deliberately. At some point, it matters less to explain this trait and more to sit with it. When resistance rises, what is it protecting? Your freedom? Your energy? Your dignity? And just as gently, is it helping you stay true to yourself? Or sometimes keeping you from things you actually want? There's no correction required, no adjustment demanded. Just an invitation to notice what's happening inside without trying to fix it. If you recognize yourself here, you're not behind, you're not broken, you're simply living from the inside out. And if that means you move quietly, choose carefully, and resist being steered too easily, that's not a flaw, that's awareness.